Hello everyone and welcome to the Butler Beat. I'm Tyler Springer. Well, a brand new student organization is making its way onto campus. The organization is called Butler Athletes Recognizing Kids, or BARC. The goal of this group is to give back to children of Indianapolis by partnering with local elementary schools and hospitals. Joining me now is the president of BARC, David Starkey. David, thanks so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me out here,
Yeah, for sure. So, when did this idea of kind of starting BARC first come up?
Well, it was really born actually over the summer that I was staying down here with a couple other football guys. We were just living in a house, and one of the senior captains, Jojo Ciancio, and I kind of like sat down and we were bouncing ideas off of each other of what would be good for maybe like the Butler team or just a small group of guys. How could we get involved with the community a little bit more? And he did a similar project with Charlie Perricone, another senior captain, where their RBE idea was to go into schools and do like after-school activities funded by the parents. Sure. Now that idea kind of sparked in my head where it's like, okay, well maybe we'll hold off on the being funded part and then give back to the community through the elementary schools and then the children's hospitals, as you said there. And then also recently we're working with Independence Academy, which is a school with autistic kids. And that's actually the correspondent I've been working with is a former Butler cross-country runner. So really working great on that wavelength right there.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, I mean, you're a football player. So, I mean, Butler Athletes Recognizing Kids. So why athletes? Well,
actually, it's a student organization, and in our Constitution, we wanted to make sure that it was actually open up to every Butler student. It is spearheaded by the athletes. It is definitely our way of giving back to the community and also the student body. But yeah, in the Constitution it says, I mean, really we just wanted to have something where the athletes could really rally around it and then really, yeah, as I said, spearhead the operation.
And you're the president, so can you also take credit for starting this idea? Were you the one who came up with it?
I don't know. I don't want to take any credit.
Effort?
Yeah, it's not about getting the name on the plaque or anything like that for any of us. But just the most important thing about is just recognizing the kids and then pouring into their lives.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about partnering with Riley Children's Hospital, correct?
Yes. Yeah, they're just right down the block. And then we're really working hard on having the football team and BARC as an organization sponsor a kid, and I'm in the midst of learning about all that stuff. And then also I am becoming a volunteer with the hospital, which is quite a, it'll be an experience for sure, but the process getting there is definitely a lot more than some may think. Just interviews and recommendations and I mean, I've been going through the hospital procedures as well. Yeah. So it's been a great experience, and then I'm getting a couple other guys on board with that. But really we're going to draw a large number of athletes is going into those elementary schools and just mentoring them, tutoring them, eating lunch with them, and just hanging out with them.
Great. So, I mean, what all does that entitle? When you're going to these hospitals, obviously, you're having lunch with them and reading with them, and obviously that's helping them cope with whatever, maybe problems that they're having. What kind of problems do you anticipate these, students having? Are they all going to have disabilities or?
Are you speaking on behalf of Riley kids or the elementary students?
Yeah, the Riley kids.
The Riley kids, well, we won't be able to go there too much just because of hospital restrictions, obviously, and they're currently in flu season, so their gates are up to outside visitors. So just with their weak immune systems. Sure. So a lot of the events will actually happen on campus for us with Riley. Okay. Where, I mean, at the Butler football spring game, we're going to have close to about 25 families out there, it looks like right now, and their kid there. And then all their conditions are listed. I won't get into that. But various born with diseases and then maybe possibly outside causes, such as like a car accident or something like that. Those are the types of kids that we're going to be working with. And then, at the spring game, they'll be watching the game with their families, with other athletes in the crowd and other BARC members. And then afterwards, we'll be able to interact with them on the field, get to hang out with them. But then also, we're looking to support the athletes as well of Butler, where with the kid that we'll be sponsoring, possibly go to a couple baseball games, a couple softball games, tennis matches. It's all open, all fair game.
And so, I mean, these kids will hopefully be excited to see all of you guys and, you know, have your help. So, but what does this mean to you and, you know, the other members of BARC, you know, being able to give back to these students?
Well, I know for me, when I was even in 3rd grade looking up to high school football players, it was just, they were not gods in my eyes, but it's like, wow, like look at that guy out on the field, and just look how, you know, as at the platform of being an athlete, I feel like there is quite a bit of responsibility that comes with it as well. So that is kind of one of the things that we're focusing on is, I mean, Butler, we do an amazing job as a school of giving back to the community. It's always, you know, the Butler bubble, but we reach out with, you know, various activities. But really from the athletes, we could expect a little bit more out of ourselves. And that's just my opinion. But definitely with BARC, we'll be able to, you know, reach out to the future leaders of Indianapolis and the world and directly impact their lives. So that's really the most rewarding part. So we're going to be able to see exactly what we're doing in these kids' lives, whether they're in circumstances that are unfortunate or not, just regular kids like myself growing up, looking up to high school and college athletes. We know that we have that platform, and we want to take that responsibility.
Sure. And what about the elementary schools? Will you be able to go there?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Obviously, fill out a couple forms through the state with the IPS, just regulations to make sure that we're all, you know, good kids, which we are. And then going there, it's really they're welcoming us as much as possible. I've met with 3 different elementary schools: Elder Diggs, which is just south of here. We've also met with Cold Spring, and then Rizio McClellan. And then, yeah, those are all elementary schools, and we're able to work with up until 6th graders, just because once they get to 7th and 8th grade, it gets a little bit of a gray area whether they could be considered recruits for the university or athletic teams.
Oh, okay.
So we have to be pretty safe and make sure we're covering all the aspects that need to be covered, just compliance-wise. We don't want to blow our 5th-year quarterback's eligibility for his last year. But no, going there, it's going to be great. You know, I know, yeah, elementary kids, they're going to look up to us, and a lot of those kids are ready to see us as soon as possible, and a lot of the teachers are too, actually. Just going and visiting all those schools, you know, they're like, oh, there's a handful of kids that would just absolutely grab onto this idea, and we'll be eating lunch with them, mentoring them, just kind of pouring into their lives a little bit. Just how sports have impacted us in our lives, or not necessarily, and just kind of talk to them about life, talk to them about how they're doing, and just try and be a positive influence in their lives.
So when you went to these schools, they were very open to this idea that you
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got to tour around the campuses, and then was immediately handed some paperwork, sat down with the principals and or vice principals at the schools. And yeah, they're really looking to grab onto us and really partner with our organization. And
kind of, is there some kind of plan of how often you're going to be, you know, holding events or going to the schools? Well, definitely with fundraisers and Riley Kids, that sort of thing. Those will be less frequent, but more in depth, more juiciness, more definitely. Publicity for those things. But then with the elementary schools, it might be a thing where, hey, you know, maybe me and the vice president, Sean Horan, go in and give us maybe like a 30-minute lecture during to a class during assembly, where it's like leadership or sports or something like that. But those will be much more frequent with people visiting weekly, or maybe twice a week as well. Just eating lunch with the students there, with a group of classmates, just reading a book with them, reading buddies up until about 2nd grade. They like to have that, and then yeah, after school extra activities, you know, like soccer clubs, basketball clubs, all that stuff, and then tutoring as well. Those will also play a large part. Yeah, good. And I know this organization is pretty brand new. Has it been approved yet? Actually, we are in that process right now. Okay. I meet with SGA. The original date was over spring break, and I'm like, well, I'm going to be home for that one. Yeah. But the first Monday we get back from spring break, I'll be presenting in front of the SGA
I've already met with Pulse, and we got the Constitution signed off, no problems there.
Great.
And then once we get approved, because we are fairly confident that we're going to be approved, it'd be quite a shocker if not. But we would definitely make sure that right away we set up the accounts to start fundraiser stuff possibly. And then, I mean, we'll be able to interact with kids as soon as possible. And that's the goal. And right after spring break is really when we're going to be kicking into full gear with all of this stuff. Right now it's all the preparation. We want to make sure that we're building it correctly. And then right when we get back, we'll have about a month and a half to really work with these kids and then set up great opportunities in the fall.
And you talked about you have a VP. Do you have other members, or is there a count that we have right now on BARC?
Number count, I'm not too sure. We actually, pretty funny, we were originally, so there's 5 exec members, all football players at the moment, but
sure.
I mean, that looks a little, not bad, but it's definitely the heart of this will be with football for at least this year.
Yeah.
Just, Matt Schiltz, myself, Sean Horan, Jake Balder, and Jake Doman. Yeah, all great guys. All very, very close with all of those guys. But then, yeah, hopefully we can open up the exec team eventually with some other athletes. But we actually just leaked a meeting one time. We're like, hey, we're BARC just to see if anyone would show up almost. So we just texted a couple buddies, told about it with a couple kids in the locker room the day of. Be like, hey, check out this thing 8:30 tonight if you're interested. And we told maybe 20 people, but then 70 people showed up. And we're like, okay, wow, this is definitely going to be.
Bad.
I didn't print out enough handouts.
Yeah.
But this will be. A lot of people want to grab onto something like this because it is fairly absent. And then we want to be that core group of athletes that really are just getting out in the community. When it's all said and done, I don't know a total head count that we'll ever get. Just with people cycling through in season, I won't be able to go into elementary schools as much as I would like. But I mean, out of season right now, 5 days a week, it looks like I'll be having lunch with someone somewhere, and then eventually.
It's a big time commitment.
Oh, I mean, it's worth it though. At the end of the day, we got to make sure that, maybe it'll be a little overloading at times, but it's worth it, and it's definitely for a great cause. It is a little bit lighter this semester with football, still quite a bit on the weekends, but that leaves a great opportunity during the week then. In my opinion, anyone can take about 40 minutes out of their day to sit down with these kids. You can find a gap, definitely, if you're willing to work for it. And
what can a student do if they are interested in joining BARC?
Interested, definitely look for us on our Facebook, Twitter account. Myself, you can email me. Or any of the exec members, or really ask anyone about it who's an athlete right now. The buzz is definitely, the buzz is definitely brewing. We've got a lot of faculty members who are fully on board with this as well, which is great. Sonia Hopkins, Molly Sullivan, Lindsay Martin, all these people are really working side by side with us because I think they see the potential for this group, and we're happy to have them. Well, it sounds great to me. Thank you so much for being here, David. Oh, thank you. Good luck with the organization. I'm glad it's finally getting started, and I'm excited to see what you guys do. Thank you. Yes, me too. That is David Starkey, the president of the new student organization, Butler Athletes Recognizing Kids. I'm Tyler Springer, and you've been watching the Butler Beat.